Shalom my friends, this is Max Joseph and I'm here because I have a very special Oscar predictions video for you. I normally only do the predictions on the first of the month, but we're doing one more before we get to our nominations on Monday morning. To give a quick rundown, these predictions will be a little bit different than my normal predictions. Each category will feature the maximum number of nominees possible, and I'll discuss the spoilers, but that's it. I'm not really going to dive too much into who will necessarily win, just who and what will be nominated. So there's no stubs, we're just going right to it. It's going to be a quick video. Stay tuned for my February predictions. That will go really deep. But before I get into my predictions, please make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel and ding that little bell to get notified whenever I post new videos. And so, here are my predictions for the 2020 Oscars January edition, Part 2. Best Picture. Alright my friends, I think that we have one new change in the Big Five. I think Jojo Rabbit has moved up in front of Marriage Story. Parasite, Irishman, Jojo all got DGA, PGA, SAG, ACE, and WGA. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was the same, except it didn't get WGA, but that's because it wasn't eligible. 1917 got PGA, DGA, and ACE, and won the Motion Picture Drama Globe. So that was a lot of letters. Basically, I think those are your front runners. And right behind them are Marriage Story and Joker. Marriage Story is really kind of starting to disappear a bit in the mix. It'll get into actor, actress, supporting actress, screenplay, and probably a couple others like score and I don't know, something else, but I think it's fading a little bit. And depending on how Monday morning goes, there's a chance Joker can move up a few slots depending on how many nominations they receive. I also don't think they'll actually end up with 10 nominees. I think it'll end up with either 8 or 9. Best Director. Top 4 slots are next to guaranteed. For sure the first 3. Tarantino taking the Globe solidified him as my 3 slot. I can see a world where Martin Scorsese somehow misses out, but I just don't think it's gonna happen. So he's in. And I think that that 5th slot is gonna go to Little Women's Greta Gerwig, which will also make her the first woman to get 2 directing nominations, which is beyond shocking and beyond upsetting, but I'm hoping she does it. We have 4 potential spoilers: Noah Baumbach's Marriage Story, Todd Phillips' Joker, Taika Waititi's Jojo Rabbit, and in some possible universe, the Safdie brothers' Uncut Gems. So basically, Bong, Mendes, and Tarantino are safe, Scorsese is probably safe, and Gerwig will hopefully get in, but in reality, that slot is pretty open. Actress in a leading role. I think the only 2 I'm totally confident are Zellweger and Scarlett. Then there are the 5 other women fighting for a slot, and they are Charlize Theron, Awkwafina, Saoirse Ronan, Cynthia Erivo, and Lupita Nyong'o. And it could totally go to any of these women. I think Charlize feels like a safe pick, and then I put Awkwafina in as my 4 because her winning the Globe was huge, as that tends to translate into an Oscar nomination. So the 5th slot would be between Saoirse, Erivo, and Lupita. And I'm giving it to Saoirse because I think Little Women will have the most nominations overall. Little Women will hopefully be up for Best Pick and Director, so it just feels right. If Erivo misses, Harriet will still get a nomination for Original Song, and that could be the way they award Cynthia Erivo. If Lupita misses, unfortunately, Us will probably not get a single nomination. So, because Little Women will probably have a bigger night, I'm putting Saoirse in that 5th slot. Actor in a leading role. I think this is a little more clear than actress in a leading role. I'm pretty sure that SAG got at least 4 of the 5 nominees. The only difference SAG has from my 5 is that they actually have Ford v. Ferrari's Christian Bale instead of Banderas, which I could totally see that happening. The other 2 fighting are Dolomite Is My Name's Eddie Murphy and The Two Popes' Jonathan Pryce. And I'll get more into it in February, but I think it'll be between Phoenix and Driver actually going for the win. And I'm saying it here in case a miracle happens, but I'd love to see 1917's George McKay get a nomination here, and even Dean Charles Chapman in supporting. Probably not going to happen, but I'm just throwing it out there. Actress in a supporting role. I'll say it to get it out of the way, Dern is winning this. It would be shocking if it was anyone else. But who's joining her? I think Margot Robbie and J.Lo are pretty safe bets as they each have critics, Golden Globe, and SAG. But Robbie has one up on her as she was nominated for the BAFTA, as were Johansson and Pugh. The spoiler would have to be Zhao Shushen. Somehow, she only has a critics nomination. If she somehow got nominated, it would probably be my favorite nomination of the day. I pray that I'm wrong and she somehow squeezes in. It would make my morning. Actor in a supporting role. So the 3 Ps are next to a guarantee, that being Pitt, Pesci, and Pacino. Hanks should finally get that Oscar nomination. Last time he was nominated was in 2001 for Castaway. And the 5th slot is the one that Song Kang-ho will be fighting for. And the ones right behind him are Anthony Hopkins for The Two Popes, Jamie Foxx for Just Mercy. But the reason I'm giving it to Song Kang-ho is for 2 reasons. First, he should be winning this category. Second, if we're looking at history, Parasite needs an acting nomination in order for it to win Best Picture. Last time something won without having a nomination was Slumdog Millionaire at the 81st Academy Awards in 2009. So I'm hoping that Oscar gets him in there, but don't be surprised if it's someone else. Original Screenplay. The 3 for sures are Hollywood, Parasite, and Marriage Story. And I actually don't think there's a frontrunner, even though Tarantino won the Globe. Knives Out kind of feels like my YOLO kind of pick, but it's not really because it has the BAFTA, it has critics, it has the Writers Guild. The Farewell only got critics, but for some reason I just kind of feel good about it. The spoiler would be Booksmart, which is one of my favorites of the year, and 1917, it might get in because it'll be one of the most nominated films of the year. And then the super shocker that I'm just throwing it out there could be Uncut Gems. Adapted Screenplay. 1 through 4, it's a done deal. It's between Joker and A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Take your pick. Both are great options. Animated feature. This is the first category I feel most confident on all 5 of my picks. I'm not saying they're a guarantee, but they just kind of feel good to me. The spoilers would be Claws and possibly Abominable. That's it. I think these are pretty set. Cinematography. This could go anywhere. The winner is gonna be Deakins, and Hollywood will be the runner-up, followed by Irishman. And then there are so many options. I have Joker and Ford v Ferrari, but if you give it to Lighthouse, Portrait of a Lady on Fire, Parasite, Jojo Rabbit, I wouldn't be able to argue you. This is more of a gut kind of pick. Production design. Exactly like cinematography, the top 3 are Hollywood, 1917, and Irishman, just in a different order. Jojo Rabbit feels like pretty good in that 4th slot, as it earned the ADG and BAFTA. The 5th is between Joker and Parasite. And the only big difference between the 2 is that Joker has the BAFTA, which is why I'm throwing it just ahead of Parasite. Even though I'd probably give my vote to Parasite. But look for some combination of these 6. Costume design. It feels like this will be your 5. Yes, Rocketman somehow missed BAFTA, which makes 0 sense, but it's gonna get in. The only spoiler I can see is Irishman, with a small possibility of Judy. It'd be a great pickup for Judy because as of now, the only nomination it has is a win for Renee Zellweger for actress in a leading role, so the film could really use a bit of love. Film editing. As of today, I think it's still going to be between Ford v Ferrari and Irishman. The BAFTAs have all of these nominees, but substitute Parasite with Jojo Rabbit. And I just don't think that BAFTAs are going to reflect what we end up getting, so next up would be Parasite. But look out for Jojo to join the 5 with a chance of 1917 going in. So the top 4 feel good. 5th slot will either be Parasite or Jojo. The shocker would be 1917. Makeup and hairstyling. First off, we finally have 5 nominees. Thank the Lord. Second, I'm still flabbergasted that Irishman didn't make the shortlist here. Third, I have Judy 1 slot ahead of Rocketman because I think the Academy is just going to eat up what they did to Zellweger. It just kind of feels more Oscar baity to me. Possibly throw in Dolomite and Downton Abbey. They love period pieces, so it's easy to pick them, along with 2 of the frontrunners in Best Picture, 1917 and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Sound editing. Editing and mixing should probably have 4 out of the 5 same nominees. For here, look out for Avengers Endgame to possibly take over Rise of Skywalker slot, but the 2 locks, 1917 and Ford v Ferrari. Sound mixing. Only difference besides the order on editing and mixing is that I think Rocketman may replace Star Wars. Last year they gave mixing and editing to Bohemian Rhapsody, so that's one of the reasons I'm throwing in Rocketman. I think the mixing is better than the editing, that's why. As well as the fact that it has BAFTA and CAS, but look out for Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker, and The Irishman. Visual effects. There won't be too many shocks here. These 5 feel pretty good, and I'm not quite confident on the order yet. The only one I could see moving is 1917, which would be replaced by either Alita Battle Angel or Terminator Dark Fate. But the first 4 feel pretty good to me. Original score. So we all know that the battle is between 1917 and Joker. I'm still not sure who's gonna end up winning. I don't know. But the following 3 are pretty solid. Little Women shares the most check marks with 1917 and Joker. That is, they all have BAFTA, Critics' Choice, and Globe. And I don't see a world where John Williams isn't nominated for Star Wars. And then Randy Newman feels good for Marriage Story. The only other spoiler would be Jojo Rabbit, which has BAFTA over Marriage Story. That's it. Original song. I'm still not ready to give Rocketman the win over Frozen 2, but that might change by the time February 1st hits. Stay tuned. The only other for sure nominee I have is Stand Up. Not sure where they're gonna look for the 4th and 5th. I have Spirit getting in because Beyonce. I think the 5th slot is gonna go to a song that's kind of more unknown. So I think that it's between I'm Standing With You and Glasgow from Wild Rose, with a possible spoiler of I Can't Let You Throw Yourself Away from Toy Story 4 because Randy frickin' Newman. International feature film. Parasite is winning this. We all know that. Moving on. Pain and Glory and Les Mis are the only other two that are almost guarantees. The next two are up for grabs, but I think that it's Atlantic's. And because Honeyland will also be competing for documentary, I think it'll have more of an appeal to voters. So that's why I'm putting Honeyland in there. But I'm also considering Those Who Remained and Beanpole. Documentary feature. The first three feel pretty good. I'm nervous that we may see Apollo 11 miss. I can see voters being a little turned off because it's all archival footage. And it felt like the frontrunner for so long, which is kind of how Won't You Be My Neighbor felt last year. And that's why I have it in my 5th slot, which could be taken by something like Midnight Family, or even one of my favorite documentaries of the year, Knock Down the House. Those are my predictions for the 92nd Academy Awards January edition, Part 2. Let me know what you have predicted in the comments. Agree? Disagree? Let me know. And look forward to my reaction to the Oscar nominations on Monday morning. And so my friends, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like this video, give me your thoughts and predictions in the comments, subscribe to this channel, as well as follow me on Twitter and Instagram at mjoseph492, like my page on Facebook, which is facebook.com/MaxJosephFilmPerson. And if you really love me, please consider being a patron on Patreon, where you can get patron-only content, guest interviews, giveaways, and lots more. You can even give me a film to review, a top 10 category, or a song to sing. And that video will be dedicated to you. Shalom, my friends.